Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Young and Wifed Up. I'm Gabby.
And this is Marcella.
And thank you for joining us today for another episode.
If you would like to support us, you can be a patron on our Patreon account. Patreon or Patreon? I get mixed up with that. Patron on our Patreon. There are different tiers that you can join, depending on what you can afford. During the month for your subscription, you will get different perks with different tiers. There's things like bonus episodes. There's exclusive merch, video chats in our highest tier. We have one-on-one calls with our top tier patrons. We have recommendation links, printables, like tons of stuff, lots of perks that you do not normally get by being a free listener on all of the platforms that you normally do. So if you're interested in supporting us, that is a huge way to do it. It helps us keep this stuff going with equipment, with the time that is needed to dedicate to editing and recording and all these different things. So if you would like to support us, that is a huge way to do that.
You can also join our Facebook group, youngandwifedup.com. We are hosting a home reset challenge right now, which gives you the opportunity to enter into a giveaway for a $25 digital Amazon gift card. So all you need to do is be a member of our Facebook group, Young and Wifed Up, and participate each week in the different challenges that we are doing. This is our last week that you can participate in them. All of the challenges need to be completed by June 1st so that we can choose a winner and announce for our next month's episode. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this. It's been super fun, and I hope that we can do more giveaways and more home reset challenges in the future.
Also, another way that you can support us is by rating us and reviewing the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you are able to leave a review. Give us an honest 5-star rating. It is a free and quick, easy way to support us and to get the word out there, to help us get up further in the ranks in the podcast realm. So, yeah.
Cool. So today we're going to be talking about home decor, specifically about curating your home for your specific family's needs and tastes. This is a subject that both of us are very passionate about. So we're going to just jump right in, starting with Marcella's thoughts.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to get a coffee fit right now. So first things first, this is something that I've had to grow in. It is very tempting, especially as a new wife with finally all of your own space, to rush the decorating process just to get a room done because you just want it to feel complete. I think a lot of top tier designers, home curators, vintage collectors, etc., will tell you that it can take decades for rooms, let alone entire homes, to be finished. So patience is definitely a virtue to pursue in this area. Things are just it's not going to be done by just going to a store, getting everything at one place. I think most of us want something that's more customized, more personal to us, instead of just going to the nearest Home Goods and just getting everything off of our list that we can possibly find. Which, nothing wrong with going to Home Goods. They got good deals. Yeah. Usually when it comes to something that's more cohesive in your home, something, again, that's more curated to your family, is probably not going to be realistic, getting all from the store. Also, as a married woman, I want my home to not only reflect what kind of space I like to live in, but also my husband and kids. So a practical way to do this is to focus like textiles and patterns towards something more feminine, but with a more masculine leaning color scheme, or however your husband would appreciate being essentially represented in a way in your space. So, kind of a more specific example would be like I have used things like blankets, pillows, curtains, lampshades, art to bring in the feminine touch with like patterns and textiles, but the general color scheme of the home leans more neutral or masculine. And maybe you have areas in your home where you have like pops of like feminine color as a complement, which are also helpful. But things like if a guy was living by himself, he's probably not going to choose like fur fuzzy blankets and rugs. Like those, there are definitely textures and textiles and patterns that are more feminine leaning, but incorporating that with like a more masculine color scheme can kind of like help tie in, make it a little bit more cohesive that there is a man and a woman living here, and it's not just all like
Yeah.
pink, frilly,
Mhm.
you know, just ultra girly, bougie, however you want to do it. Um, Also, when it comes to storage for children's things, don't get super wrapped up in hiding every single little toy or baby item. I feel like new parents are definitely prone to this because they're trying to preserve as much of their old life as they possibly can. That it's like our home has
Mm.
to also look the same way, and it's
Mm.
just not possible. We want people who come into our home to know that children live there and they are welcome. We aren't trying to like stuff our kids away all the time, like to never be seen or heard. And that includes the stuff that they interact with on a daily basis, like the objects and things that they play with or whatever. But having like a general storage, so like nicer baskets, maybe that kind of go with your home decor, even like living room dressers. It's really helpful for the extra clutter that comes with having kids. So, like, for instance, I have a couple of like wicker basket things in the living room where the boys' toys go, and I try to rotate their toys, on a semi-regular basis. And then everything else pretty much either in storage in their closet, so it's kind of out of the way anyway. Um, or if they have toys in other rooms, there's also storage solutions in those rooms as well. So it's not just like the toys just kind of get thrown all over the place. They don't have a place. You want those things to have a place where they're going to go. But don't freak out if you can see the toys.
Yeah.
Like your kids are playing with them. They're going to be out. And there's just no avoiding, especially if you have babies and stuff, all the baby stuff, bouncers, the swings, and like those are things that it's just like practical utilization in the home. And like there are ways that you can kind of help to make it more cohesive and help so that it blends in a little bit more with your decor. But don't get so wrapped up in this house needs to look like no kids live here.
Mm.
um because I know I have seen a lot of people who tend to go down that direction. Pinterest is super helpful if you're like, I don't know what my style is, or like I have something very specific that I like and I have not been able to like find inspiration. Like I have found Pinterest to be really helpful. It has a lot of like mainstream trendy decor, but there are many sectors of like niche decor that you can find on there as well. You just have to use certain keywords. And it also helps kind of keeping all of your ideas into one place. Also, another place that you can pull a lot of inspiration from that I think is extremely overrated: books, pieces of art, even modern media like movies. Like I've seen people kind of curate their interior design based off of movies like Pride and Prejudice.
Mm.
So like the feel of the movie and the architecture that you see, like some people like cinematography is like a really huge means of like gaining inspiration for architecture, interior spaces, stuff like that. Because sometimes like sets that they have for these movies are just like insane, and it is like you want to like use that as your inspiration. So even using things like that, not just like I'm just going to go on Pinterest and scroll online to see what there is. Things like, books, um, especially a lot of like older books where environments, spaces are like have explained in heavy detail,
Hmm.
um, is also really good for inspiration. There's like so many different paths you can go that just is not just Pinterest. I really like Pinterest, but there are a lot of different ways that you can utilize different forms of media. So that's kind of my short tips. I mean, we could probably talk about this forever, but yeah. What about you?
So yeah, I've had kind of an interesting home decor journey. I kind of started off like a little bit more true to myself when I moved back in with my parents' house. I was experimenting with decor in my room when I was working and I was single, and I made this my room like my space, and it was so me, and it just reflected me and my style. I had like wood paneling on the walls and then like a beaded chandelier, and then I had like this crazy colorful comforter, but then I had like, I don't know. There was just like so much like of myself in it. I felt so comfortable there and I loved it. And then when we got married, I just kind of fell into the trends and I couldn't get out. Like, part of it was convenience. Like, I got a lot of gifts when we got married that were farmhouse neutral, and I just was like, well, this is what I have, so I'm going to kind of go off of that. But then I everywhere I would go that was convenient, like Hobby Lobby or Home Goods and stuff, only really sold this
Mhm.
style in the first 2 years of my marriage. So then I felt like I had no other choice but to do that, and it was very trendy at the time. This was, like, almost 5 years ago, and I remember, like, now farmhouse is no longer trendy, which is so funny, but it was very trendy, in the first couple years of my marriage, and I don't know. I don't know why. Like, now that I think about it, I don't know why I fell into that and didn't consider like this isn't me. But during the pandemic, like kind of like in the middle of 2020, I started rethinking everything. But I didn't know what my style and my identity was. I really wanted something in our house to really reflect us, but I didn't know how to do that. I was uncomfortable. I was already like a pretty amateur like thrifter, but I didn't know like what to get. Like, I didn't have inspiration. And then one day I was scrolling, I think I was on TikTok or Instagram. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I saw this woman's house, and it was, I literally like gasped because I was like, this is exactly what I want. Like, it was just so eclectic and so many colors, and it was like kind of like leaning on a 70s vibe, and had like rich like velvet and like dark, and I don't know, it was just like such a wild mix of things, and I just was like so drawn to that. So then I talked to Ryan and was like, hey, I'm about to literally destroy this house. I'm gonna burn it to the
Do a huge
ground.
overhaul. Yeah.
Yes. So I got rid of almost all of our decor. Like, I don't think I have a single thing, like, despite some of the furniture items that we had when we got married, um that we originally had. Like, I got rid of everything. I donated it all or I sold it at a garage sale. Then I started slowly getting kind of our stuff together, and again, like Marcella said, it's a process. I'm barely scratching the surface of my hopes and dreams of my dream house
Same.
and, like, what I wanted to
Yeah.
look at.
Yeah.
But again, like she said, it could take decades. This is, like, my lifelong,
Hmm.
thing now. So what my style currently is for our home is kind of a back to the eclectic vintage, but with a groovy twist. So lots of colors, lots of oranges and dark greens. If you're watching the video, you can see this like dark green velvet curtain. That's like the vibe. That's the inspo. Lots of tassels, lots of beads, lots of velvet, lots of 70s style glassware and colorful rugs and just like statement pieces. And I want like my furniture to kind of be more neutral and like chill. That way I can like build on that and I can like switch it up and just like have it be like my playroom. I can just mess
Mhm.
with it. But I don't want a ton of like breakable things that aren't like
Yeah.
drinkware. One, because I want children, and also because we have children come to our house frequently. And
Mhm.
so because of that, like I don't want my home to be like a museum situation where everything is so precious and I don't want anything broken. So
Right.
most of the things that I have that are breakable are really high up or in like cabinets. Um but everything else, like there's still way that you can like lots of fabrics, like rugs and blankets and like couches that are just like super colorful and stuff. Is That's kind of how I um like express myself instead of like all the breakable stuff. I have one beautiful like I think it's Japanese. It's like supposed to be a I think originally it was like a kimchi jar or a ginger jar, and it's a lamp, and it's this gorgeous like
Mm.
orange and white and blue lamp that I have in my living room, and that's probably the most precious thing I have, and it's sitting on top of like a smaller coffee table. But it's a little higher. So little kids like even at our old house, we had tons of little kids over, and there was never a situation where I was scared that it was going to break. And I also got it for
Mhm.
free, so I don't even care if I break it. I mean, it's beautiful, but like I'd rather have an
You
eternal
didn't
soul.
invest
And
a ton of money into
yes,
it,
I'd
yeah.
rather have a little kid that I love, like enjoy my home instead of, me worrying that something's going to break. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's kind of like my journey. But I used to be extremely insecure about my home decor, and I worried that I was not on trend. But then I realized after the first few years of our marriage that Ryan and I are the ones that are primarily enjoying this home. Like, who cares what people think? Genuinely, at the end of the day, it's you, your husband, and your children that are going to be the ones that love and enjoy your home. So might as well make it what reflects you guys and what you
Mhm.
enjoy, where you're going to relax. It's not their home, it's your home.
Mhm.
So when I was like when I curate our home, I consider like what reflects our personalities and what reflects like what we enjoy. I don't have a lot of rules. Like I said, we do the vintage eclectic, kind of groovy, but I still don't have rules. Like not everything in my house is going to be vintage. Like I got these curtains
Yeah,
at Target.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I I don't say like I can never go to Home Goods and find this and that. 80% of my decor is secondhand, but the other 20%, if I see something that fits and looks
Mhm.
great and I can get it at a discount, then great. If it's good
Mhm.
quality, I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I shop secondhand for our decor. Like Marcella said, it takes an incredible amount of patience and also a willingness to walk away from stores empty-handed. I
Mhm.
don't typically go to a store with a plan, like a thrift store. A lot of the things that I have in our home have come to me kind of randomly. I wasn't actively hunting for those things. I find when I go and actively hunt for something, I always come out short. But if I have something in the back of my mind, like every time I go, I look at the curtains section. And maybe one day that beautiful curtain for my bathroom will be in there and I'll be so stoked. But I'm not going to be like, I can't rest until I find a curtain. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I kind of just let things come to me organically. Another great place for secondhand is Facebook Marketplace, especially if you have friends and family that also thrift. They can help you keep an eye out for things that you're looking for. Like I remember my grandma was always sending me things when I was
Oh,
looking for something specific.
she's still sending me stuff all the time.
Yes, and my
All the
friend
time.
Jasenia, like in when we were living in California, she'd be like, "Oh, she'd send me a listing because she knew I was looking for this." And also, the chair that I'm sitting on, if you're watching the video, was sourced by my friend Jasenia for free at a dumpster at our local thrift store. And now I'm sitting it and enjoying it in Ryan's office. Like, we love a friend that can find a good thrift. So
Yeah.
we find a lot of our stuff in dumpsters or on the side of the road and stuff,
Mhm.
which I know might worry a lot of people, but we always check it, make sure there's no bugs or mold. But there a lot of things like people just don't want to deal with taking to the dumpster, so they just put it on the side of the road, you know.
Yeah.
Um oh, one thing I wanted to say about patience. I am exercising this for something that I have been wanting for literally years, and that is a pretty tapestry or even a rug for above our master bed in lieu of like, a headboard or like art or
Mm,
something there. I've yet to find something that really grabbed my attention. One time I almost had my hands on something. I put a bid on something on Instagram, this awesome vintage Instagram thrift store. She was doing an auction, and there was this incredible tapestry of farmlands in the Netherlands. Oh, it was so colorful. It was so beautiful. I was like, this is my vision, but I didn't want to pay more than $100. So I was bidding back and forth. I was battling with another girl, and eventually she went over 100, and I was like, you know what? I have to walk away. And it was hard because I really wanted that thing, but I was unwilling to budge like what I thought was good for our budget, you know? So
mhm.
I hope that my patience will pay off and that something even better will come around and God will bless
Yeah,
me
totally.
for
Yeah.
not just impulsively deciding I need this one thing for our house and I'm willing to like compromise on our budget for it. So
Mhm.
you have to walk away a lot of the time from some situations, that you think, oh man, I really want this in my home, but it just would not be wise to buy that thing right now. But I also wanted to say, of course, like I said before, like I have a lot of things in my home that are not vintage, and that's okay. I like whatever I like, you know.
Mhm.
The payoff though for saving for the high quality new items or scoring something incredible secondhand is so much more rewarding than buying a ton of new lower quality items just for the sake of completing a room.
Mm,
When I finally get my hands on that rug or tapestry for my bed, I know it's going to be the most fabulous feeling of dopamine that I waited and I was patient and I finally found that perfect thing for a house and I didn't have to go above our budget. And I've had that feeling quite a few times where something was just perfect for our home. And I was just like, wow, I'm so thankful that I waited
mhm.
and didn't
Yeah.
grab something like at Target really quick. I'm so glad that I was able to get something for $20 and it's even better than that thing at Target. So that's
Yeah.
my advice.
Also also, like, if you are gifted in, like, flipping furniture or building things, like,
Girl, yes.
use that to your advantage because you can
Yes.
probably save yourself so much money. There might be a dresser or some kind of furniture that somebody's like, "I don't wanna deal with this, I'm selling it for cheap." The stain is bad, it's like it's in really
Mhm.
bad condition, like, cosmetically, and if you are able or willing to even learn, if you've never done it before, to do something like that, that can be very cost effective and still give you a really great piece for your home
Yes,
too.
that's something I have not dabbled in, but something I wanna try in the future, Lord willing.
Yeah, for
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today for today's episode. Let us know in the comments, what are you guys doing to curate your home? What are the things that you're looking out for at the thrift store? What is your current style? How has it changed over the years? And we'd love to talk to you guys about it because this is something that we're super passionate about and we could talk about for literally hours. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.